Welcome back to sunny Peak Rivera, California, here at Secretary Place for our Round 2 coverage of the VGC Gym Challenge first tournament. I am Sis Coronel, Dennis Geisler still here, Faye Kuko still here. We have our Round 2 opponents. We have two-time back-to-back Ray Gage champion Abigail Watson going up against Gayle Shuler.
Yeah, and this is a interesting one here. Both these players definitely on the upper end of our the people who are typically around in some of these local ones. And both of them are running kind of similar teams. Both have the Porygon 2, both have that Incineroar.
Yeah, and Shuler as well. But the difference is that Abigail is on the team that got her those back-to-back titles in regulation age. Porygon 2, Incineroar, Ursaluna, Jumpluff, Charizard, and Torkoal. Gayle Shuler on the Amoonguss, Incineroar, Porygon 2, Ursaluna, Golden Goat, and my personal surprising pick here, Mienshao.
Yeah, I like that quite a bit. It's nice into this matchup for a couple of reasons. The big one is just that you get to block the Eruption and the Heat Wave with Wide Guard. That's one of the big things about Mienshao, is that it does have that Wide Guard as an option. In general, I'm interested to see what it does here, because there are a lot of different things Mienshao can do, and I mean, you're going to want Wide Guard. That's a big reason why you bring it there, and it's fast, and it hits reasonably hard. So, I don't know. I'm interested.
You want to see fast and reasonably hard? You have a couple of things here that do that for Abby. Charizard's the big one, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's going to be the big, difficult one to mess with. And also just the Jumpluff. The Jumpluff in Sun is always so difficult to try to manage.
Well, here's the managing part for Abby, as she leads perfectly with the Torkoal lead, and looks like that Jumpluff in front of Gayle Shuler's Mienshao and Incineroar, meaning that a Jetpack is going to proc immediately.
Yeah, we're going to immediately get that switch out on the Torkoal, which is not a bad thing for Abby, really, because it means that now you can bring out whichever one of these two that you want.
Alright, it's going to be Ursaluna. That's going to be the choice. Already the third Pokemon comes out from Abigail, but unfortunately the Flamethrower does not proc here.
Yeah, I mean, at this point you can just kind of do whatever with Jumpluff. You can either Tailwind or you can Sleep Powder. And with Ursaluna, you can either protect, you can get kind of aggressive. You might want to get a little bit aggressive into the Incineroar just so that it doesn't switch out and reset a couple of times and stall out your Sun.
Yeah, definitely an interesting situation from Gayle, because like you do expect one fake out from either one of these Pokemon between Mienshao and Incineroar. It won't be from Mienshao, because it will be switching out. It's going to be Rhyhorn's Golden Go.
I didn't know Rhyhorn had the Golden Go to give.
Alright, hey, speaking of give, how about Gayle giving Incineroar a Terra Grass for its troubles?
I like that, just to try to avoid a big ground-type move here, which isn't unlikely even with the... Yeah, we're going to get Terra as well on Abby's side, so early Terras for both.
It's going to be an Ursaluna Terrasolizing into the most popular Terra type of its choice, being that Terra Ghost. And Incineroar, yeah, it does Terra the fear of the Headlong Rush and Earthquake, but it also doubles down as a Grass immunity for Sleep Powder, which was not clicked in favor of that Tailwind. There you go. That's what I was stumbling my words on. Headlong Rush into the Incineroar, and that Grass Terra definitely helped out as Ursaluna will take defense drops.
Yeah, and now Incineroar finally gets to do something.
It's knockoff, and it's going to do reasonable damage to Jumpluff and get rid of that Cobra Cloak.
That's a bit of a weird one, I think. I would have preferred the knockoff into the Ursaluna or just the Flare Blitz into the Jumpluff, just because Jumpluff really had no reason to Terra there, I feel. And it is the Covert Cloak, so you could have just KO'd it with the Flare Blitz, so... A little bit of a weird choice, but not particularly bad. Gayle's still in a pretty solid spot for this game number one.
Yeah, definitely Incineroar is in a great spot, but it's seen to be undersped by the Ursaluna and Tailwind, so it will go down to the next Facade, although that Golden Gun that came in here can just click Shadow Ball as well, so essentially Abigail has a choice of who she wants to KO between the Golden Gun and Incineroar. Jumpluff just going to get out of here and bring in that Charizard in its place, and Incineroar switches as well from Gayle.
This could be pretty good for Abby if this ends up being like
Porygon 2. So we know all of Gayle Shuler's Pokemon here that Download is going to get that special attack boost, but who knows if it's in the line of fire by Headlong Rush. Golden Goat certainly does not want to be in that line of fire as it throws out a wall of protection. It's Facade into the Incineroar slot. Porygon 2 takes it reasonably well, but it won't be liking the fact that this Charizard's still around.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Tailwind's up, so not really any way to outspeed. Golden Go doesn't have the Terra. I mean, at this point, it's very easy to just click Heat Wave, Earthquake, and then what does Gayle do about it? Because Mind Show is not on the field right now. It could wide guard both those moves. It was out here, but it ain't.
The Golden Go's gonna switch out. Got a little bit of leeway to get back into this Pokeball, back into this, or we'll get into Timmy onto this Ursaluna, which I don't think is going to save it from Porygon 2, and depending on whether or not Charizard can land its moves on the Incineroar, could result in a double knockout from Abby. It's going to be a Heat Wave. It is going to double connect, and it does double KO.
And, it's not, I mean, I guess the thing stopping Abby from doing it this next turn, because now,
Mienshao and Golden Go will be switching in.
Yeah, and Mienshao can just click Wide Guard to prevent Charizard from doing anything, because it is locked. But... And Ursaluna is -1, so it's a little bit of a way back into it for Gayle, but it's still so difficult when you've done, like, no damage so far. I really don't know what the play is. I mean, you might have to just get Golden Go set up here, but even then, it's going to be really difficult to get these KOs down with Jumpluff and Torkoal still around, meaning that you can kind of cycle the Sun into Chlorophyll, Tailwind, into bringing the Charizard back out, and you don't have Terra available, so that's not an option either.
I was about to also point out that Torkoal is threatening an endgame situation. Jumpluff, however, cannot threaten damage on anything whatsoever, because we did see it on the screen. It did not have a damaging move.
Yeah.
However, Disruption can be the best tool in disposal for Abigail. Should have gone to that endgame, but yeah, you gotta assume the Heat Wave coming out. Of course, Charizard is locked in with that Choice Specs. It's taking solar power damage every other turn, and yeah, gotta get the Wide Guard out of there.
I would have assumed Abby would have just switched out one or both these Pokemon right now. That's kind of what I was looking at earlier, is just like, okay, yeah, it'll be totally fine if you...
It's gotta be a headlong rush here from the Ursaluna, right? Into the Golden Go to play around this Wide Guard, depending on whether or not this Golden Go actually outfeezes Ursaluna.
Yeah.
It does not. It's gonna go out on this headlong rush.
Yeah, there's no way that it's gonna outspeed and Tailwind, I don't think, and I do think it's a little weird. Again, it was just such a difficult spot for Gayle to be in, because you needed something to give there, and I think maybe you had to just get aggressive and assume that the Charizard was going to switch out. Not that that would have done anything, but just getting aggressive with it and trying to have Mienshao do some damage there instead of this, because, yeah, I mean, you just kind of get wiped by the headlong rush into that Golden Go, and game 1 for Abby.
Yeah, that is game 1 for Abby. And you do see... There's clearly a difference in power between these two teams. You clearly just saw in that game number 1, being that Jumpluff, Charizard, Torkoal, and Ursaluna from Abby. And, well, as soon as Charizard got into position, it was smooth sailing for Abby. But at the same time, you did also get Charizard in position because, well, you didn't go aggressive on the Jumpluff turn 1, but who knows if that actually mattered in the end.
Yeah, and I mean, if you did get aggressive with Jumpluff early, it's possible that you could just get the free switch in for Charizard. I think the big thing is just... Porygon 2 switched into a move that did a bunch of its HP, Incineroar switched into a move that did a bunch of its HP and used its Terra to do that.
Yeah, it used the Terra to maybe block a Sleep Powder, but that was not what happened.
It felt like there just wasn't the damage available for Gayle, particularly once the Porygon 2 got basically removed from the game. And I think Gayle has to position probably just the first turn a little bit better, because having to just immediately switch out Mienshao and Terra Incineroar turn 1 just defensively doesn't feel great.
Yeah, not at all. And the main problem here I think from Gayle is that your aggression comes from defensive measures, and well, Abigail's team is plenty of wall breakers. Mm-hmm. And all those wall breakers, the Charizard, the Ursaluna, maybe Incineroar, maybe Torkoal. Maybe Porygon 2 as well. Like, yeah, there's a defensive background with Porygon 2, Torkoal, and Incineroar. But you didn't need those defensive measures if you just ran through your opponent's team.
Yeah, and I mean, the Jumpluff and the Torkoal provided a lot in that game. Particularly the Eject Pack Torkoal. Like, I think Abby can lead basically the same thing again and be perfectly fine. Like, that's the tough thing, is that I think Abby can basically do the same thing and has a lot of different lines to get out of whatever Gayle wants to lead with. Well,
there is a difference now in this lead. It's going to be Incineroar Porygon 2 from Gayle Shuler. It's going to be Abigail on the jump up in Torkoal again, and once again, Torkoal will set Sun and leave. With a special attack boost on Porygon 2 to boot.
Yeah, which is good. The big thing here is just that, again, now you get the switch in to probably just the Ursaluna again, and I mean, Abby can play this out pretty similarly. Could change things up a little bit just in terms of potentially protecting with Ursaluna, but ooh, and Charizard has Terra Ghost as well, so it can also block the Fake Out. So it could be the Charizard and just go for Heat Wave.
I mean, these Charizard typically do go Terra Ghost because it's basically the same reasoning as a Chi-Yu would back in stronger regulations, where it's like, you don't want to get disrupted as soon as you can because Charizard's your main heavy hitter. So is your Ursaluna, in a sense. But for Ursaluna, it doubles down as a immunity to fighting, which is normally one of his weaknesses, and it comes out again. For the second time, no way more procs, but I wonder if Gayle is going to take the attention to Ursaluna this time, or attempt to one-hit KO to jump off.
Yeah, I'm really curious, because I think the obvious play is trying to protect that Ursaluna here, just to get your Flame Orb active, while Incineroar is doing whatever else. Getting the Tailwind up is obviously very important, and see if Abby actually gets to do that, depending on what they
Sleep Powder connects on the Porygon 2. 75% of the time will connect that time around for Porygon 2. It's going to fall asleep on the job. It's going to be a Flare Blitz, and this time, Jump Up has nowhere to run.
So that is significant for Gayle, although in hindsight, there's really not a lot of speed on her team, so the Tailwind might not really matter. And yeah, if the Porygon 2 moved last, well, I guess it might have moved.
I mean, technically moved last this turn, but we don't know if it's underspeeding the Ursaluna, and presuming based on base stat totals, it should be outspeeding Ursaluna.
Yeah, and I mean, it also could have clicked Trick Room is the thing, so we really don't know.
And here comes Big Bad Charizard for Abby.
Yeah, now it's really hard to play against just Heat Wave Earthquake right now. Like, there's really not a lot that you get to do about that on Gayle's side, especially since, I mean, the Porygon 2 could wake up now, and if it did, I mean, even if it does, I don't think it gets a lot of damage down.
Yeah,
certainly not enough to take out the Charizard. Certainly not enough to take out the Ursaluna. And
I mean, I'm not sure how much of these Pokemon are really trained with +1 special attack in mind, because, well, it's always a possibility.
True. But Porygon 2, I mean, as much as +1 special attack's really good, it's still an outplay of all Pokemon.
Oh, Wonder Ball, not enough to knock out the Incineroar. Definitely eyeing a Terra Grass just in case it needed to U-turn out before the Ursaluna could move. But as we saw there, no Terra was quick, and Incineroar was indeed faster than the Ursaluna and gets out with that U-turn.
This could be concerning, though, depending on what switches in here for Abby. Or, excuse me, for Gayle.
I mean, it could be concerning for Gabby depending on what she did in her moveset. The move is the worn out. It's definitely been worn out here. Oh, it might get worn out now with this facade. Yeah. And it does not! It hangs on, and Porygon 2 takes a second turn to sleep.
Okay, so that was very briefly really good for Gayle, and then the Porygon 2 didn't wake up. Because if the Porygon 2 woke up and got Trick Room off, then Gayle certainly had a way back in that game. Amoonguss could have started getting sleeps down.
And says, gotta get out of here for Incineroar. Presumably it's coming in for that Intimidate, and it will. So it will go down this turn more than likely, depending on where this Ursaluna switches in, or depending on where or not this Weather Ball goes into the Amoonguss slot. But the Intimidate is going to matter on the Ursaluna.
The Intimidate will matter, but the problem is Gale's just running out of time. running out of time and running out of Pokemon.
Oh my god, that's a lot of damage! That's not even a critical hit! Charizard just hits that hard! If Earthquake comes out, this will be a double knockout!
Yeah, Specs, Solar Power, Weather Ball. Weather Ball's a very strong move by itself. A lot of people don't really consider it.
It's a stronger Flamethrower in Sun!
Yeah, it sure is. And that is probably going to be game if Gayle couldn't set up the Trick Room before then. I don't know that she has a way to win this at this point.
Once again, Amoonguss worn out, comes into the battlefield, and the last one, it's Ursaluna for Gayle. This might be bad.
Yeah, and I understand what Gayle wanted to go for here with the Trick Room mode, and Porygon just fell asleep a little bit too long. Not much you can do about that.
Yeah, I got hit with a 75% sleep powder turn 1, got that turn sleep on the same turn, and it could not wake up in the one opportunity. It really had to go for that Trick Room.
Yeah, and I do not in fact believe a lot of Amoongusses are not running the Protect, so it may be...
Ursaluna does run the Protect, though.
Ursaluna does run the Protect, so we'll be able to get through an extra turn, but the big issue is that I mean, you need these two Pokemon to get through Abby's two Pokemon, because if you can just get to...
And there's a facade into the Amoonguss, down it goes, and all it is now is a bear for Gayle, which will get the Flamor, but it probably will go down to a Life Specs Sun Weather Ball from Charizard.
It will certainly take a lot of damage from it, and along with the Flame Orb chip, and... I mean, it can't hit Charizard and Ursaluna at the same time.
Yeah, I know, and yeah, Gayle does see the writing on the wall there. Abigail Watson, 2-0, Gayle Shuler for in round number 2.
And again, just another really clean playthrough of a very offensive team, and I think Abby got a lot of value out of that Eject Pack Torkoal. Like, the thing you think about with Eject Pack Torkoal is the overheat into the switch out, and so you get a bunch of damage and you get a switch. It's really nice just getting to do it on the turn 1 Intimidate, because now your Ursaluna does not get intimidated when it switches in. The Incineroar then has to switch out and switch back in to get the 1 Intimidate down, and that matters a lot when you're doing a lot of damage early on in these battles.
Yeah, not only that, but Abby didn't really care if Flamor didn't proc immediately, because Ursula still hits hard with that. I think it's a base 140 attack stat if I recall correctly, which is absurdly high for a Guts user.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, it obviously just hits so hard, and Abby played around it really, really well and had the right speed tiers for everything. So,
yeah,
really well done.
Yeah, really well done for Abby. Once again, 2-0 Gayle Shuler in round number 2. We'll be taking another break here. Pizza to be determined, and we'll be back with round number 3, depending on when the pizza either shows up or if we just move straight ahead.